Stitches Quilting, and today we are going to work on the Healthcare Heroes quilt. This is a free pattern with Stitches Quilting, and we are going to do something new. We're going to add an embroidery design to it. So you can see this is a free pattern, but it comes as just a regular quilt. It comes with the plus sign in it, and it also comes in the 24-inch size and the 60-inch size. So we've got lots of options for you, and I've loved seeing all of your quilts, but today we're going to actually transfer an embroidery design on the bottom of the quilt, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. You guys can put your own message on there, but I have created this on the pattern for you guys to see what you can do on this. So hold on for just one moment. I am going to make sure that you guys can get the pattern real easily. Oh, let me refresh this real fast. One quick moment. And there we are. Okay, so if you are on Facebook, you can go ahead and let me make this active. You can go ahead and just put "I'd like the pattern," or let me know something on there, and it will send you the link for this. The link for it on YouTube, but this is the pattern for, it's called a World of Hearts quilt. So we're making a World of Hearts to put up in our windows. It's been traditionally called the You Are Loved quilt, so I'm putting that on there, but it's also the Healthcare Heroes. And on the back of this, we've got some transfer images here. If you've already downloaded the pattern from the My Stitches Quilting website, the online store, I can email you just the embroidery design right here. And I should have your email online as long as you inputted your email when you came on. But we are going to put these two scriptures on the bottom corners of this. But you guys can embroider a message to your Healthcare Hero. You can put on whatever inspires you to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how to embroider. We're going to use the quilt right here. It's really simple. We're going to use a light pad that I've got from Cricut right here, or you could just use your window for the process. So let me go ahead where I can see all the comments. I want to see who is actually here, what you guys are working on today. I am from Salt Lake City, so let me know where you are from. I've got to make sure that my comments or my audio is muted here. And let me go ahead and turn this off. And this is the pattern has, like this outline of how you want it to look when you're actually on there. For the plus sign, there's a couple different versions there. So let me go ahead and show you a little bit more about the pattern. I am going to put a quote over here on this side, and over on the left and the right corners of the actual heart quilt right here is where I am going to put the embroidery designs that I have. You could put an embroidery design anywhere on your quilt. I just want to show you how it happens and how it works. So let me go one more thing to see if you guys, the software has changed. Oh, let me go here. So I can see the chats that are happening. Okay, we'll see if I can see all the chats now. So let's go ahead and get started, and we want to go to our chats. Open in the browser, please, so I can see all of your correspondence. Okay, so we'll see how that works right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I am using a Cricut bright pad. And the Cricut bright pad is a really durable bright pad, and it's a light box. Oh my gosh, let me show you the very first light box I ever had. So just one moment, okay? So hang on. Let me just go ahead and set this down. Oh my gosh, I dropped it. Just a minute. Let me get my original one. Okay. This is a light box that I had, oh my gosh, like 25 years ago. And it's something that a whole bunch of us girlfriends, we actually made it, and we put it together as like a wood thing. We put light bulbs in there. It would go out. I used to have a plug where I could plug it in and things like that. But the Cricut light pad is really durable. and it stays on. You can drop it, you can store it anywhere, and holy cow, it just lasts forever. So I just, I'm always impressed with the Cricut Light Box. Now, if you go download the pattern right now, these 2 transfer designs will be available for you. Let me go ahead and change the camera so I can see, so you guys can see my tabletop. Because one of the first things that we are going to do is we are going to go and press this one more time. I don't know if I heated up my iron though. The iron is not hot. So before we press it, we want to press everything before we transfer the image. So we're going to do one good press here. But I'm going to show you what I do. Let me turn this around. And on this, you have a 1-inch box here so that you know if you have printed this off to scale. So let's go ahead and look at that. If I hold this up to the 1-inch box, I can see that this has been printed to scale. You don't have to have it be perfectly sized. You could make it be bigger. You could make it however you want it to be. But this is what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to lay this underneath the white fabric that I've used right here on my quilt. And I'm going to use the Cricut Bright Pad underneath this. And you can see it has different degrees of brightness here. So I can, go ahead and lay this down. You can just use your window though. Don't worry about what you do. You could have it be really close to your design. You could blow up this design even larger, however you want to be. If you want it to fill up the entire space, whatever you want, you can do right here. So one of the embroidery designs that I did, and I kind of wrote this out so it would look nice right here. Let me turn this off so you can see. But this one says, "Be still and know I am God." And that's Psalms 46:10. My son gave this scripture to me when the whole pandemic started. And this was another one that he shared with me too. But it's trust in the Lord with all your heart. So what I did, that's Proverbs 3:5. What I did is I went ahead and I sketched this out so that so it would look good right here on the quilt, just kind of on the triangle side of this. I made one so it was right-sided and the other one so it was left-sided. And I think that worked out pretty good. So let me go ahead and let's press our quilt so it looks really nice before we transfer a design. So I have got a pressing mat right here that I usually, you guys, if you watch my videos, be sure to follow and subscribe. Oh my gosh, I really turned it off this weekend. How responsible of me. Anyways, we're going to let that heat up for just one more moment. How do you like to transfer your images when you do embroidery? How do you like to do your images? What type of pen do you use? There's friction pens, there's pencils. Let me grab the friction pens that I have. There's all sorts of marking things that you could use to transfer your design. What is your favorite method to use when if you transfer a design onto a quilt? I'm just really curious what things you guys go ahead and use. Let's go ahead. I can hear my iron. It's now nice and hot. So let's go ahead and lay this on here. And we want this to just be as flat and smooth as can be, especially when we're transferring a design onto patchwork. So you can see the design is going to cross over into some of the patchwork here. So we really want to press this really nice. So this is our Healthcare Hero quilt that you can download anytime. It's at the website. You can get that link. In fact, let me put in the comments the link where you can get the quilt and the link where you can actually purchase a light pad if you like that. What kind of, hi Betsy, how are you? You love seeing, Betsy, it's so good to see you. I just absolutely love it. It's so fun that we can stay in correspondence while we're here on Facebook. That's just like a really good old friend of mine. And it's so fun to think of our time hanging out when our kids were little. I agree with you. How very, very fun. So that's where you can get the pattern. You can download the pattern for free. The pattern includes the embroidery designs on there, and those are free too. So the pattern looks like this on the website. And then the designs, the embroidery designs, I went real casual. They're not amazingly digitized or anything like that. But this is definitely a quilt that you can make for a healthcare hero that you know is sacrificing so much and working hard out there. It's something that we can make and then hang up to be in our windows on our homes, and to share our love for the first responders and the people out there doing things and sacrificing so much for all of us. So that's what this quilt is about. I now have my nice pressed quilt right here, and let me see if I can see anything else that's going on here. But so what I want you to do now is, I'm going to just use a pencil, but I'm so curious, what are all the things? Oh, I was going to share the link, and this is actually an affiliate link where you can buy a Cricut bright pad. So hold on for one moment. I'm going to share it on Instagram, on YouTube. It will be in the description of the videos. So, and I'm going to put on there that the Cricut share a sale link is an affiliate link. So what that means is, if you go there and you buy some different things that are Cricut, I might get a little percentage of it, but whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so I am going to use a pencil for this because I want to get a nice light line. And you want to use a sharpened pencil because you want your line to be really clean and looking really good on there. So let's go ahead and line this up. I think that this looks like a pretty good space to put this. And let me go ahead and grab some pins. So we're going to use some pins here. And we're going to match up this piece of paper with the quilt where we want it designed. Just kind of lay it out where you think it looks good for you. And we're going to pin it in place. I've got this on the white portion of the heart quilt. Oh, you guys, we are actually going to make a pillow this week with this pattern, and we're going to resize the blocks. I think that looks good. I don't know. I might want to shift this one real fast one more time. Let's go ahead and make sure the words are kind of going with the line. Oh, I put one more right there. So here we have like, and no, I'm going to have that be straight with the actual seam of my quilt blocks. So I'm going to just kind of lay that down. I think that looks good. I could actually have this be a little bit closer. I think I'll just go a tiny bit closer there. So we're going to just now go ahead, and I can put my pin in and hit that Cricut bright pad because it is definitely safe and secure. They have tested it so much. It's just a great bright pad. It's been out. It's a product that's been out a while. And their bright pad is actually brighter than some other competitor things that I've seen out there. There we go. Oh, let me move this one over just a tiny bit. Okay, got to pin that in place. All right, that's looking really good. I might put one more pin over here and one more pin right here. Okay, now all you're going to do is trace this out so you can see my lettering right here. And then we're going to go back over this with an embroidery floss. And we want to just be able to see the letters just enough that we can embroider over them. So you don't want to do too much work on here and be putting too much ink or whatever kind of transfer pen that you are going to use. And just go ahead and place that on there. All right, let's go on this S. And I'm going over my seam, so I'm just making sure that this is coming through. Our next video, I'm going live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So, and on here are the days. So on Wednesday at noon, I will go ahead and show you how to do some of the embroidery stitches on here. And you just kind of want to get that lined up. You don't want to mark too much because you want your embroidery floss to cover over this pencil line. So what other types of transfer pens or transfer, there are so many different transfer type of things. You can put this up to your window and just, you know, hang it up in your window so that you don't have to worry about about purchasing anything. Remember, this quilt can be made with just scraps. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Let's bring this down, bring this back up. So I'm just doing like a nice pencil line. It is a sharp point because I am transferring onto fabric. So what other methods would you use? I am trying to give you guys an easy method because everybody has usually a pencil home and you don't have to go out to the store or go buy something, or you might have a sharpened pencil. But remember, if this gets set in your fabric, unless you embroider over it, it's going to stay if it gets set into your fabric. So there's lots of other transfer pens, some that are water soluble, some that are, oh my gosh, there are all sorts of different kinds of transfer pens out there. But we just want a nice fine line that we can use. So this says, "Be still and know I am God." So, which I think is a great quote during this time of the craziness that's going on, and just that we can have peace and hope and know that all will be okay. Right here I wrote down the actual scripture for this. You could transfer this so it's showing up down here and not at an angle. However you want to do that, you are going to want to space this out. I did this more of a reference. Let me go ahead and I'm going to write this larger right here so that it can be embroidered and we can read the lettering. And so I'm going to put Psalms, and I'm going to move it over just a little bit more. 46:10. Okay. All right. So there. This is how you transfer onto a quilt. So you've got seams that are happening. The light box really helps as you're doing things, and it just definitely helps. I think, but your window with some sunlight behind it will work out perfectly too. And I am gonna just go ahead and see if I've got anything else. Now we can, and I tried to make these lines a little bit bolder so that you would have an easier time seeing through everything. So once again, over on the other side of this heart quilt, I'm going to trace this part, and I'm going to want to make sure that I've got my end. Let's go ahead and use a ruler right here. This is a ruler that I actually sell on the Stitches Quilting website. It's one of my favorite ones. But I'm going to want to make sure as I'm doing this that my end of the words right here of "I am God," let me show you this as you are putting this together. So my end of my "I am God" right here, I'm going to want to make sure matches the bottom of what I'm doing over here. So on this one it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." So we're going to want to lay this underneath, and then we're going to want to use a reference point to make sure that we've got it laid out so it's just about right, especially when you can't necessarily wash this out of your quilt fabric. So you do want to make sure that that's nice and straight. I'm also looking at my seam here, this center seam, to make sure that I've got this so it's following the quilt, and this is where I am going to place this. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and pin on this side. So that's how you go ahead and you can coordinate. And I think it's wonderful to have an actual quilt with some embroidery on it. I think when you combine different art methods and different tactile methods into our quilts or the things that we're making, it gives it such value, and it makes it just amazingly, just so beautiful. So I'm going to make sure that this is nice and straight with my quilt lines over here. So I'm going to use a reference point of this line in the quilt along with this line over here. So let's go ahead and line this up. And I just want to make sure I've got something that's sitting there accurate before I go ahead and transfer this design onto the white fabric. I mean, if something went really wrong, I mean, these are easy squares to go ahead and pick out, but we just don't want any hindrances, right? We just don't want any hindrances to our creative processes and to go backwards. So is not really all that fun. But I think adding a touch of embroidery, especially if you're making this for somebody else, even if you add a touch of something going on here. And remember, we also want to make sure that we are putting a quilt label on the back of our quilts. So even if you're just using a Sharpie marker, make sure that you are getting that done. Try not to overthink it. And I'm going to use this reference point to see if I've got a good, that looks great right there. I'm about 3/4 of an inch from the seam. I'm going to check what I am over here. And that's about 3/4 of an inch. That one has gone, the S is going a little bit closer, but the rest of these is about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this on to this next side. I am going to embroider one of these so that you can see what the embroidery will look like. Let's bring it up over to the other camera view. So I am going to embroider this, have this completely finished for you so that you can see what that looks like. And then I will show you some embroidery techniques on Wednesday at noon. I will show you some embroidery techniques right here, and we will figure that out. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, you guys, I love you. And I'm so glad to share this with you. And I think it's wonderful to share our appreciation and our love for different people that are sacrificing so much, whether they're healthcare workers, truck drivers, grocery store people. There's just so many people out there that are working so hard to help everybody. So remember, the pattern for this is free, along with the transfer designs that you can put on the back of your quilt or on the front of your quilt if you want to embroider it. But on Friday, we're going to go ahead and do a pillow out of this. I'm going to give you the size that you need to transfer the quilt block size to for a pillow that is a Healthcare Hero pillow. So instead of making it as a quilt, you might want to do this as a pillow instead, a throat pillow. You could also make it as a 60-inch size quilt too. So you've got so many options. We've got some people that are making 10 of these, hanging them up in their windows, giving them as gifts, and all sorts of other things. So anyways, you guys, I love you tons. Be sure to download your free pattern at the Stitches Quilting website. I went ahead and put that on there. Hi Dolores, how are you? It's so good to see you, and it's good to see you guys every single day. And I am just so excited to be here and to be doing the things that we're doing and to keep ourselves busy in healthy ways. So chin up and always stay cheerful and enjoy your day. And I will see you guys on Wednesday at noon. We'll do some more of this embroidery. I'll show you that technique. And then we're going to make this into a throw pillow. So, and just so you know, if you want to start yours, it's a 2.5-inch square that you're working with from the pattern. So instead of this size, we're going to go down to 2.5 inches. So anyways, I'll see you guys a little bit later. You guys have fun. We'll see you.